Welcome, 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 everyone. I am so glad to have you all here in participation of the final family reunion discussion hosted by Wilson during NBA All-Star Weekend. My name is Lexi Mickens, and I'll be your moderator for today. Driven by the bonded by ball mentality, this experience is meant to celebrate the game that brings us all together. And specifically within this activation, it's fueled by people who show up for their communities and seek to uplift those around them. Speaking of which, I'm going to introduce our guest today. Joining me today is Kevin Clayton, Vice President of Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement, Cleveland Cavaliers. Welcome, Kevin. So happy to have you.
Thank you. Love being here.
Next, we have Nick Ansom, founder of Venice Basketball League and the infamous nonprofit Hoop Us. Nick is also a passionate basketball artist and community activist of 17 years. It's so great to hear from you, Nick, today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
I'd also like to welcome Shelton Hawkins, who is a former Division I basketball assistant turned artist and currently a high school art teacher who has worked with brands like Adidas, Reebok, and Diesel, to name a few. Shelton, I'm so thankful that you're here today.
Oh man, I'm super excited. Thank you again for the opportunity.
And next we have Stefan Arshpool, founder of a Parisian streetwear brand, and has also helped with tons of court activation back in Paris, making sure that the kids are well taken care of through the sport of basketball. Welcome.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, my new favorite teammate to share the court with, Brianna Salvatore-Duick, who is a senior strategy consultant at 17 Sport, where she works with the top properties and brands within the sports industry in crafting their purpose-driven strategies to maximize their positive impact on society while also meeting strategic business KPIs. Brianna, welcome.
Thank you, Lex. Really excited to be here.
Awesome. I'm so truly honored to sit amongst you all today. And the first question I want to ask each of you, which we'll start with Brianna, is how did the game of basketball inspire you to become a community activist?
Yeah, so the game of basketball has had a tremendous impact on my life. When I was 2.5 years old, I unfortunately lost my mom to a car accident. And I had some trouble connecting with other kids. A little bit awkward, but then as soon as I started playing basketball in the 5th grade, it really was a life changer. I found community, I found a place where I could be safe and known. It gave me confidence, and so seeing the game of basketball impact my own life, I think really truly showed me the power of sport and the power of basketball. And then I have a big heart for international relations, done some really awesome, been fortunate enough to do some great work overseas as well, so seeing it as a great connector across cultures as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Brianna, and I know your mom is super proud of you as well for the impact that you're creating.
Thank you, Lex.
Kevin, may I ask you what impact or what inspired you to drive a community-focused impact around the game of basketball?
Yeah, so for me, the game of basketball allows everybody to participate. So if you think about basketball versus other sports, all you have to do is find, for me, it was a trash can at the end of a driveway and a rubber kickball. And we had friends that would come over and play and what have you. So my ability to really be inspired by that was that I think basketball is the ultimate unifier of communities. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, short, tall, rich, poor. All you need is a ball and some kind of hoop in which you can come together. So that then translated into us being able to leverage that, quite honestly, to do bigger things within the sport.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I couldn't agree more. I actually founded my own nonprofit as well, creating these equitable community spaces through the game of basketball, and we travel across the country, offering others the opportunity to play for free and also just build their social network and capital. So I know Brianna played with us this morning, so really happy you were able to be a part of Run It Back. And Shelton, can I ask you how the game of basketball inspired you to drive impact in your community?
Yeah, so I was the youngest of 3, and my brother and my sister always played basketball, so that was my way of kind of hanging with them. And I just kind of grew up playing the game and had some really good coaches, and I seen how they impacted the community and how they helped us kind of be better young men. I lost my father at a young age, so I kind of wanted to be that same guy for the kids of my community. So I'm also a high school teacher, so I kind of get to impact the kids in the basketball court and also in the classroom. So yeah.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Shelton, and I'm so thankful that you're turning your loss into an opportunity to be there for others that might not have that father figure in their lives as well.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. And Nick and Stefan, I heard you both grew up together in Paris, so can you tell me more about how the basketball community kind of changed your scope of what you were doing in Paris and bringing it to the States?
Well, I mean, there's no there's no basketball without community. So I think we grew up at a time in the 90s when we discovered basketball. Like, there was no basketball culture. There was no basketball on TV. At least
everyone was running after a soccer ball, actually.
that was it. Yeah, I mean, so that it was all about football. And so
we were lazy to run 100 kids around one ball, so we saw a little rim on the trees and say, okay, maybe we should switch sport. And we're going to start to shoot hoops.
It's very much true. For myself, it's like a lot of courts in France, usually you have the choice. It's like a soccer court and the hoops are above. So there's never really the choice to play basketball. That was the common sport as far as growing up. Now the culture has changed a bit, but out of frustration, my first impact to basketball was like somebody scored a goal, I was the goalie, and I grabbed the ball. It was elementary school, and the rims were low, so I dunked it at recess. And I said, from now on, we'll be playing basketball every lunch break. And that's the affinity. I mean, I think, Stefan and I we grew up on different teams, but the passion runs deep, and we had to build our own community because people didn't really care for the game, and I think I fell in love instantly the minute I discovered basketball.
Yeah, so great to hear about your neighborhood upbringing and how you were able to change the culture, just not for you two, but also for students around you and growing up with you. So I'm so moved by your responses, and I'm thankful that the game has each of us to grow within it. Now, Kevin, for this next question, I'll begin with you. What do you consider the most important part of the work that you do?
So for me, I have an opportunity to impact every fiber of humanity in Cleveland through the work that I do. And I know that's kind of a broad statement, but if you think about the Cavaliers and basketball, and you've seen this city, you all have been here, people are excited. So I like to think about the work we do as a Trojan horse. And that means we come into a community, but I'm able to bring my community partners. And those community partners are banking, I'm able to bring in health, I'm able to bring in finance. So all the other systems that drive a community, our partners allow us to kind of open up the door for them to come in. So what I love about what we do is the fact that so many other linkages that drive a community are connected to us. And it's really gratifying because we can impact so many different lives. Let it be COVID, let it be the economic situations right now, or health. We drive all that agenda in Cleveland.
I mean, I'm just so amazed to see how excited people are about All-Star Weekend happening in Cleveland. So much Cleveland pride is running through the city. So fantastic to hear about that being your inspiration for the work that you do. And Nick, I would love to ask you, what would you say is the most important part of the work you do? I know you just had a court activation here in All-Star Weekend, lots of court activities as well, and offering opportunities for the youth. So
the most important is to follow dreams. I think following the hoop dream and never giving up on what you're passionate about, because life is not easy as you grow through adulthood, and you have to remind yourself that the game of basketball is infinite. I got my first professional championship when I was 30 years old, but through building a league, to start a nonprofit, to coming to Cleveland for the 10th annual. We started in LA with the show I Love when Stefan came to town. And we decided to bring friends from the Philippines, from France, from Italy, and decided to truly celebrate and have an all-star weekend in the community and really enjoy what community is all about. So as far as this weekend, we had a tournament. 18 teams showed up. Three months ago, I came to Cleveland not knowing anyone, a complete stranger. Met a few people. 2 months later, we renovated 2 basketball courts, had 5 days of activities, gave hundreds of shoes and coats and basketball, hosted a clinic. We had Ja Morant come through, Terry Rozier. Always dreamed about renovating the court that he grew up playing. And just all the pieces come to the puzzle. When you put your passion and your energy towards something that you truly love, people are going to support it. It might take time. It's not going to be easy, but through staying consistent, it's almost 2 decades that, Stefan and I, we pursued the same dream. I moved to LA. We both from the same small neighborhood in Paris, Pigalle. And now it's like, our brands and our passion is enabling us to travel the world and still fulfill our basketball dreams and share those dreams with the next generation that can share their dreams. So we're planting seeds every day, and it's is such a blessing.
Planting seeds, I love it. And Brianna, I know Nick had spoke about both the adult component of never losing your dream, continuing to chase it, and also helping students. Can you talk about your work, how you equally help both adults and students through impact in the communities that you drive?
Yeah, so in my role as a strategy consultant with 17 Sport, we are working with teams, leagues, brands, and athletes to help them to craft strategies which really embed purpose at the heart of those strategies. So within that, one of our great clients is Adidas, and we work with them to help get on their Breaking Barriers program to get 50,000 more girls into sport over the next 5 years in Europe. We know there's a really big drop-off rate with girls participating in sport at around age 12. And so as part of this program, we're helping to keep them in sport. But a lot of our other clients and our partners, we're really helping them to realize their own company purpose and mission through their platform, whether that be their sponsorship platform, or if we're working on a league or team side, the team or league's strategy themselves, to again be that conduit, as Kevin said, in that community, that force for good, really transforming lives and having that impact on the educational front, on the health front. There's just such a myriad of benefits that come from participating in sport, and we're really excited to be able to participate in that work.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And Shelton, I wanted to ask you, so I know being a community activist looks different for everyone for every single day, right? So can you walk me through what your maybe typical day looks like as being a community activist and an artist and a teacher? And
Well, yeah, for me, my commute to work is 2 hours. So I have to leave so early to get to work. But when I get to work and I see those kids' faces, like I know that I'm really impacting them, because like a lot of times you'll forget what you learned in class, but you won't forget the way the teacher made you feel. So I go above and beyond to make sure that kids have a safe place when they come to my classroom. I teach art, so all my kids follow me on social media, so they get to see me doing all these cool projects. Like I involve my kids in working on pitch decks and kind of learning like the process of how to be creative, and really, like I said earlier, I was a college coach for 4 years, so I understand what the game of basketball can do to somebody's life. So my day-to-day is kind of all over the place sometimes. Like, I missed 2 days of work to be here, and then, we off tomorrow, fortunately, but I just kind of do anything that kind of inspire me. I'm direct descendant of Harriet Tubman, so I take being a good person in my community very, seriously, and try to make sure I go above and beyond and try to be there when people need me.
Yeah, we have to be the change that we want to see, right? Yeah. I think so many kids grew up in a community where they didn't necessarily have that iconic figure or that mentor that they could really look up to aspire to be. So Nick and Stefan, I'd love to know, was there someone in Paris that really just inspired you and motivated you to get more involved in your communities, or was there a lack of, and that's why you two started where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, in Paris, the basketball scene started a little bit way later than in the States. So previously, I guess we had guys like Mustafa Sonko and Amarasi. They were coming from the suburbs, and so they put the light up on basketball, and they bring all the youngest kids to the game. And I think now it's me. Now it's me having basketball and the city of Paris on the back. So I hope I inspire too, and same as you, and see what next generation gonna be able to do. But now basketball in Paris is getting huge. We're probably gonna potentially beat the States in 2024 in Paris, I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah, okay, making predictions out here. And for Nick, what was it for you in particular that inspired you to build a community that maybe you didn't see when you were growing up in Paris?
I mean, my first encounter to like playground basketball culture was when I first came to Venice Beach when I was 13 years old. And I really realized like the essence and the love for the game, like pick up at its purest form, and just coming, not speaking any English, just being a kid, getting pushed up the main court, getting to the second court. They're like, you can't play with us, kid. And like a month later, making my way back to the top court and earning my respect through the game of basketball. I mean, the game of basketball the game does the talking. So, I heard, and I said, who's got next? We got on. A few years later, I see my boy Ryan Hicks in the building. His father's the godfather of street ball that brought Venice from New York. We decided to start a league, and it's been a lot of events since. Go ahead. No. What was the question? I got off track.
No worries. I was asking, was there a figure in Paris that inspired you to get into the communities that you now help and contribute towards?
I think it was always about, like, the minute I found out you can break backboards, when I saw Shaquille O'Neal, I was like, that's what I want to do.
So not in Paris,
I don't think French basketball inspired me much. I was like, I was born in San Francisco, so my mindset was like, get back to America as soon as possible.
Okay.
The minute I discovered, I was like, there's good players, but I want to play against the best.
Yeah. The American culture is hard to beat when it comes to the basketball scene, but I look
French
forward.
Is catching up.
Yeah,
I
see. I know.
Right?
It sounds like we're gonna have
pushing hard.
It sounds like we're going to have another family reunion discussion come 2024. Kevin, would love to hear more about what's next in the DEI space for the Cavaliers and the communities you serve within the city.
Yeah, so one of the things that I mentioned earlier was just that we can connect to so many different people in Cleveland. And the biggest thing that I think is really exciting is that we have actually partnered with the Browns and the Guardians. We did this right after the George Floyd murder. Wow. And we've formed, which is the first of its kind in any city or country.
The global audience here, thank you.
Or country, where it's called the 3-Team Alliance.
I love
that. So we
that.
meet every other week to talk about 3 different areas of work we do. One of which is around law enforcement, how we can connect the gaps between black and brown communities and law enforcement. We had an event yesterday where we had 200 youth, another 50 law enforcement officers. Our mayor was there, chief of police, to talk about the vision for Cleveland around law enforcement. Second, around voting and civic responsibility and how we can continue to encourage people to vote. And then thirdly, around education and how you close the digital divide between black and brown communities and other communities that have higher access. So again, we leverage what we do from a DE&I standpoint, not by what we look like or kind of who's around the table, more so around how we can go outside and leverage our brand, our personality, our assets to make sure that we're connecting the dots. And doing that through 2 other sports teams in Cleveland give us, again, that Trojan horse that I told you about before.
Yeah. That's terrific to hear and so inspiring seeing the sports world come together. I don't think, unfortunately, it's like that in all states, but with this starting in the heart of Cleveland, hopefully we can have these team alliances elsewhere as well to further the communities. Now, Brianna, I'd love to hear from you in regards to some of the community components you're currently working on and are looking forward to most within the next few months.
Yeah, so I mentioned a little bit about the Adidas project and the breaking barriers, which has been really exciting. Gender equity is something that's really close to my heart, having been, the Sustainable Development Goals.
Woman balling at a celebrity game yesterday. She came out cooking.
Yeah.
She was the only woman out there.
She came to my run today, and I mean, I told you she was my favorite teammate now that I met her in Cleveland, so this may be the new backcourt you guys see. But
I love it.
She earned a street ball nickname. What was it again? Strictly Business?
Like Strictly Business.
You see the blazer, right, Nick? You see the blazer.
She earned a name last night.
No, it's great. But anyways, like I mentioned, that this is a topic that's really close to my heart as a basketball player myself. So it's really, really, really incredible and inspiring to get to be a part of this project and to see the tangible impact on girls' lives. And so, I think that's the project I'm most excited about and most proud about. But lots of other great work, lots of other companies and teams we're working with.
Thank you for sharing, Brianna. And I know we're wrapping up our family discussion in just a few minutes, so would love to go around the table and ask each of you if you had one piece of advice to the youth that are looking to build communities and build that component within their neighborhoods and their cities, what would that advice be? For me, it's what is for you will not stop you, or what is for you won't go past you, forgive me. What is for you won't go past you. And Nick, to your point about believing in your dream and never letting that desire stop, I think our youth really need to know that there's so many people that can stand by them and help lift them up towards their goals and aspirations. So Shelton, what would you say is your piece of advice?
For me, I think it's really embrace of being a part of a team. No matter what you do for the rest of your life, you're going to be a part of a team. Whether you have a family, a business, you're a part of a partnership, no matter what you do, you're going to be a part of a team. And when you're a part of a team, some nights you get to be the superstar and some nights you don't. So, I really feel like the best advice is just embrace being a part of a team and understanding different roles of being a part of a team.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I know we're not keeping stats at this table, but I think we have a new team here for our family reunion.
Yeah, that's a fire team.
And Kevin, what would you say is your piece of advice for the youth looking to build that community component in their cities?
Yeah, and my piece of advice would be never give up. And just like as athletes, we all never gave up on our goals. And to drive community engagement through sports, you're going to have people that will say no. You're going to have doors that will close. You can never give up.
Yeah.
A dream deferred.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I think Nick said it before as well, right? It can take a long time, but it will happen if you just give it hope. So, Brianna, any words of advice?
Yeah, so I think related to what Kevin shared, I would say shoot your shot.
Ooh.
So essentially, don't be afraid to step out and to take a risk and to know that, hey, you can do it if you're passionate about it and you want to create this community and you want to have that impact in your community. The change starts with you. So shoot your shot, get out there, and go make it happen.
The change starts with you. I love it, Brianna. Thank you. And Nick, what would your piece of advice be to a youth member that maybe is looking to start community in their city?
I think the youth of today is very impatient. So I want to say take your time, be consistent, put in the work. Like there's no reward without work. Like you got to go, and you got to stay focused, and you got to stay on track. Whatever your passion, whatever gets your heartbeat, whatever gets you excited to wake up, get up and do it, and get up and do it every day, and be consistent and never give up. If you get injured, rest. Get back on track, stretch it out, and get back to it. Drink lots of water, be grateful, and there's a good life ahead. But it's going to take time. It took us. We didn't have our first sponsor. It took us 7 years. So, we were running skins and shirts for years. Now we get to travel the world on a hoop bus, and it's like the dream is infinite. Like you got to dream beyond the dream, but the dreams don't work unless you do. So.
Yeah, dreams don't work unless you do. Yeah, and speaking to your point about the youth and wanting things instantly, I mean, I think that goes for a lot of us too. I think I struggle with delayed gratification sometimes as well, but I love your words of inspiration, Nick. And lastly, Stefan, what would your words of advice be for the youth looking to build community globally too?
I'm going to be short. I think you guys say everything. Just do things with your heart and passion. And as you all said, just keep shooting. Going to get in.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to go in. Well, thank you all so much for being a part of the family reunion tonight, and I'm so grateful to sit amongst you five here. And with that, I believe we're signing off with Wilson. So thanks for being bonded by ball, everyone.
Yes, merci beaucoup.